Hey everybody, happy whichever day of the week it is for you right now. My name is Emma, and it's lovely, lovely, lovely to see you, all of the Passa crew, as always. If you're feeling, well, whatever you're feeling, to be honest with you, if it's start of the day, middle of your day, end of your day, we've got a nice 45-minute flow. So jump onto your mat, grab your blocks, grab a strap. You probably will want a strap today, actually, for a couple of bits. So do grab maybe like a dressing gown tie or a belt or just something you can, maybe a towel actually, something you might be able to kind of wrap around your toes and when we're doing a few folds. And if you do have a block or anything like a little cushion, that would be quite handy. We're going to focus a little bit on our hips today. But as always, because we're moving full body anyway, we're going to be helping out, soothing those muscles, stretching things out a little bit. So take your time. Hips can be quite, well, they can hold quite a lot of tension, especially for us runners. Our hip flexors are kind of working hard all the time, and we often don't stretch them out, even though we should. And I know I'm guilty of it too. So don't worry about that, but just sink into this flow. If you need to ease off, take any other variations. If you want to take a break, please, please do that. To start with, we're going to begin in a child's pose. We're actually going to keep our knees fairly close together today. So often we do like a wide leg child's pose. But today, just to begin with, let's keep our knees that bit closer. So bottom back onto your heels. If you need to tuck your toes today for whatever reason, that's absolutely fine. And then just start to lean over your lap, walking your fingertips forwards. And we're just going to hold here for a couple moments. Let yourself start to breathe that little bit slower. If you do want to take your knees apart, absolutely give yourself a little bit of room. Feel free to wiggle, get comfortable. Slowing your breathing down and just starting to notice where you're at. So maybe your hips are tight today and you're looking for a little bit more room, a bit more stretch into them. Or maybe there is another part of your body that, do you know what, just needs a little bit more love. So taking our time to breathe a little bit deeper. Nice big breath in so we feel our chest expand, our tummies expand, and our shoulder blades rise and move a little bit further apart behind us. And as you breathe out, maybe you can sink your chest over your lap again. Just let your back round, forehead maybe meeting on the mat, or if you want to pop a block or a cushion under your forehead, feel free just to rest here for a moment. So no tension right now. Noticing where we're at, and we will work through the next 45 minutes with a sense of calm, keeping our deep breaths, really trying to bring our focus inwards and let go of all those other distractions. Taking one more deep breath as you are. And slowly bringing your hands closer towards you. Let's move our blocks or cushions out of the way if you had one. And lifting ourselves up onto all fours. So our knees underneath our hips and our hands underneath our shoulders. We're going to move into some cat-cows before we come on to those hip exercises. So just starting by rolling your shoulders back, chest lifting, lowering your tummy down, gazing forwards. And then opposite direction, starting to round through your spine, pressing into the floor, chin tucks. Two more of these, this time breathing in as you roll your chest forwards. Breathing out as you curl and lift up. Breathing in, moving towards your front. Exhale, lifting up. And just slowly bring yourself back down to neutral. Maybe give your shoulders a little bit of a wiggle. As I said, we're still going to do things that can help the rest of our body, even though we're focusing on our hips a little bit more. So we're going to start by bringing our right foot forwards. So just stepping your right foot forwards. Feel free to take a few steps if you need. And it's going to come towards the outside of your hands. Maybe let that left knee go back a little bit further. So we've got this nice big stretch all the way down through this left side hip. From here, untucking those left toes if you can. Deep breath in, lifting your chest. And then breathing out as you start to lower your chest forwards. Now from here, you can stay on your hands with a bend in your elbow. Maybe those arms are nice and soft. Maybe you have the space to move yourself down onto your forearms, or again, bring in your trusty block or cushion, your books, your bag of rice even, and pop your forearms on there if that helps you. So trying to feel into our hips, and feel free to take a little bit of a sway or a rock, moving side to side, sometimes easing into our muscles, into these hard to reach places can be really, really helpful. One more deep breath here, softening your shoulders. Slowly coming back up onto your hands if you're not there at the moment. Again, just moving your block out of the way. Your left hand is going to stay stacked underneath your left shoulder. Right arm lifting up, twisting to the side. And either staying as you are, you can take this right arm and wrap it around your waist. So really trying to roll back with the right side shoulder. Chest opens. And we should feel a little bit more like we can sink our hips further forwards. Gently lifting your way back up. Back onto our hands. We're going to tuck those left toes and just start to lift up that back knee, taking a few rocks forwards and backwards, working into our left ankle and again softening into our hips. Okay, bring that left knee back down. Right knee comes back around as well. We'll move to the other side. So left foot comes forwards. Again, feel free to take a few little steps, maybe drawing your right leg further back, untucking those right toes as we breathe in, lifting our chest. Exhale, starting to fold your way forwards, hands, forearms, your block, wherever you went to last time, letting yourself lower down to that same place. So if we can, matching where we were on that right side. And it may be that things feel completely different on this left leg, and that is A-OK. We've all got those imbalances, and we can work on them throughout the next 45 minutes or so, and in many other ways. So that's all right. One more breath here, soften those chests. Slowly back up onto your hands, your left arm this time, unrolling, unraveling to the top, fingertips reaching high. And we will release. Again on this side, taking those little rocks. So we're tucking our right toes, lifting our knee up, and then just moving ourselves, shifting our weight forwards and backwards. Working again into those right toes, right ankle, and into your hips. Okay, right knee lowers down. Bring your left leg back. Maybe just take a little rock, hips moving side to side. Slowly sitting back onto your heels, bringing your hands up closer towards you, coming back to a kneeling position. Now, we're going to move into a few little frog rocks. You've probably had these in your programming from Lil already, particularly when you're in the gym doing probably some squats or maybe some deadlifts. So you probably know what they are, but I really want you to think about working into your hips today, not just kind of going through those motions. So really bring your focus, your attention here. Your knees are going to come out, maybe to around mat width apart. I'll come to face you and that'll be a little bit easier. Maybe to around mat width apart, or maybe a bit wider. Now, I appreciate if you are in a gym, if you are surrounded by people, this may not be the most comfortable thing for you to be doing. But do you know what? We're here for the mobility benefits. We're not here for anything else. So your knees are coming far apart, as far as is comfortable. We're not going to go beyond pain. We're not doing anything like that. We're just bringing our knees to where they're comfy. Our toes are tucked behind us and reaching each other. So we're meeting our big toes together at the back. Now coming onto your forearms in front of you. And hopefully, if we're in about the right position already, we're already feeling a little bit of a stretch through the insides of our thighs. So starting from here, beginning to lift up through those hips and rock yourself forwards, and then lowering back down all the way back. Now we're going to just keep moving forwards and backwards, shifting our weight. You may need to adjust your arms, see where you're at. Starting to rock gently back and forth. So probably putting in, especially if you're barefoot, a little bit more into this rock than maybe you would if you had trainers on or if you're warming up for your strength session. So a little bit more intensity through our hips, but I promise it is for the best. As always, if it's too much, ease off, take a break. A few more of these rocks. And you'll find that your ankles start to lift as you rock forward. That is absolutely fine. Taking 2 more deep breaths in these rocks. And now from here, we're going to hold. Now, you can keep your forearms on your mat. You can bring those blocks back in or your cushion. You can pop your forearms on there if that is more comfortable, because we're going to stay here for about a minute. And we're really trying to lean those hips back towards your heels. So it doesn't matter how close your chest might be to the floor or your arms are to your mat. It's really about that attention to your hips, those inside thighs right now. That's where we're bringing all the focus in. And again, trying to tune into our breathing. So as we breathe out, we get this extra bit of room because our body goes, oh, you're breathing nice and slow. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to give myself space. I'm going to let things relax and release. So we're tapping in to those slow, deep breaths and telling our muscles that we are good and that we can stay as we are just for a few more seconds. We're nearly there. Okay, gently lifting your way out of here, moving your block, your cushion if you had anything in front, walking your hands closer towards you. You might want to tuck your toes first and then coming onto your knees. So going back to that kneeling position, this time with our toes tucked, giving our hips a little bit of a break and working into the tops of our feet, or lower part of our feet actually, onto those soles, starting to put a little bit more weight through your toes. So if we're up here and we're like, yeah, this toe stand is lovely, I don't feel anything on those toes, lean that weight forwards. Let your knees slide a millimetre or more toward the front of your mat and feel that juicy stretch through those toes. Just holding here. As I always say, we forget about our feet. So important. Taking a deep breath. Start to lean your way forwards now. Hands onto your mat. Tapping your toes out. Give them a wiggle. Tuck those toes under. We're lifting our hips up into a downward dog. Pedaling your feet left and right. Moving side to side. Let one knee bend, the other leg straighten. And if you've done hard runs recently, especially if you did any hills, then those calves might need a bit of an extra stretch. So feel free to hold a little bit longer on one side before moving to the other, and then linger here as well. Trying to lift your hips as high as you can and grip those hands into the mat. Okie dokie. From where you are, beginning to walk your hands closer towards you, letting your upper body fold over your legs, breathing in as you lift halfway, fingers up to your shins, breathing out, coming forwards, letting your chest sink down towards your mat. One more of those, breathing in as you lift up. Exhale, start to lower back down. Heel toeing our feet to mat width apart, moving down into a squat. Of course, we have to do a squat in our hips focus class. Starting to lower your hips down. As always, you can stay with your hands on the mat in front of you, or you can lift your hands up so that your hands are meeting at your chest and your elbows are coming towards the inside of your thighs. We're going to rock here, side to side, moving over the top or putting your weight over the top of each foot. And again, working into those ankles, because as we come into a few more moves, we're going to need that space in our feet. Gently bringing your hands down onto your mat if they're not already. Hips going high, heel toe your feet back closer together, rolling your way up to standing. Softening through your shoulders when you get there, give them a roll. We're going to step our right foot forwards. and move into a high lunge from here. So keeping this back leg as straight as you can, lowering down into your right knee, really pressing away through this left heel, so drawing it back and away from you, squeeze through these quads, bringing your arms up to the top, and then holding onto our left wrist with our right hand, starting to lean your way over the top of this right hip. So we've got even more space all the way through from the front of your left leg, up through the waist, towards your shoulder, and then back to the front. Okay, bringing your hands down, more weight through this right leg now, starting to lean forwards. We're going to step our left foot and bring it all the way, or bring your knee all the way up in front of us. Taking your hands around your left knee or left shin, bring it closer up towards your chest. Soften those shoulders. Now here is we're going to get onto a little bit more mobility through our hips and a bit of balance through your right leg as well. So if you need to stay by a wall or press onto this wall that I luckily have right next to me, feel free to move if you need to. So letting go of your knee, with your hands, and keeping this knee bent. So we're going to keep this flexion through the foot and then lifting all the way up through that knee. Start to turn your foot out to the side. And we're kind of doing a bit of a fire hydrant, but standing up. Keep that bend in the knee, going through that circle. So you're moving back with your knee and starting to lean forwards now. Slowly bringing your knee down and then up in front of you, because we're going to do that all again. So working on this space through this left hip. Keep that knee bent, starting to lean over to the side and then forwards with your chest, backwards with your knee, all the way back to the front. Okay, 2 more in the other direction. So starting by going underneath us and then out to the side. Keep that knee bent, folding your chest slightly forwards, still flexing through those left toes, out to the side with your left knee. Those glutes should be firing up a little bit now. Bring your knee to the front. One more time, lowering your chest, send the leg back. All the way out to the side, as slow as you need. And to the top. Okay, figure of 4 chair. Cross that left ankle in front of your right thigh. Bringing your fingertips up. You don't need to turn. I'm just going to turn for you. Fingertips up. Send your hips back. Take a deep breath. See if you can send those hips even further back like we're doing a deadlift. And we're lifting all the way backwards with our hips. Slowly, fingertips moving down in front of us onto your mat. Your right leg is going to cross in front of left. Breathing in, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold. I definitely meant left leg crossing in front of right. I do apologize. Breathing in one more time. And folding down. From here, taking your right arm up to the top, turning your chest, bending through your left knee now. So we're getting a nice big stretch through the outside of our right thigh, from those hips down towards our knees, a little bit of a tingle perhaps. And we shall release. Fingertips moving down, unravel your legs and rolling your whole way back to standing. Okay, repeating all of that on the other side. So you guys can stay facing that original way. I'm just going to turn to make it that little bit easier. We're going to start by putting your left foot forwards. So moving back into our high lunge, we're pressing away into our right heel and we're lifting our fingertips up. So again, we've got more weight through this front leg and we're really pressing away through that back heel, straight through the right knee, opening up that bit more, holding onto our right wrist, leaning over this left hip, finding all the space down our right side. As you breathe again, see if you can find that space. Slowly coming back to the top, fingertips reaching high. And then move back up into our balance. So more weight through this left foot. Starting to step your right leg up. Knee coming up to hip height in front of you. Both hands, wrapping together in front of your knee or your shin. Bring this knee up closer towards your chest. So already here in this balance, we've got to really squeeze through the opposite glute to hold us here. Letting go with your hands, bringing the knee down to hip height, moving back into those rotations. So strong through our hips. Starting keeping that right leg, bent. Moving to the outside, toes flexed. Leaning forward as you bring the knee behind you. And then all the way back to the front. One more going that same direction, out to the side. And back to the front. 2 going the other way. So right leg going underneath us. Press this leg back. Hold onto your wall if you have a few little wobbles like me. Opening out to the side and then back to the front. You might get a few clicks and clunks here as well. That's okay. One more time. Knee going underneath you. All the way round. Out to the side. Planting your right foot in front of left. Got it right this time. And rolling down. Oh, we missed our figure of 4. Okay, we'll come back to that in just a second. Breathing in, lifting halfway. Exhale, folding down. One more, breathing in. And out. Let's roll our way back up to come back into that figure of 4. Apologies. Your right ankle is going to cross in front of your left thigh. And just like those deadlifts, we're shifting our hips back. So we've got this nice big stretch down through the back of our glutes into our hammies. Reaching your fingertips all the way up. Chest open. Holding here, finding that nice deep breath. Starting to lean your way forwards. Now planting your right foot in front of your left or across your left. And moving into our twist, right arm lifting to the top. Again, see if you can bend through that right leg to send your left hip high, get that big tingle down the outside. Gently release, lowering yourself down, legs unravel. Coming back into our squat from here, bending your knees, bring your feet to the outside edges of your mat and lower yourself down. Again, here you may want to bring your hands in front or up towards your chest. Maybe have a little play, see if you can lift those chests a bit more. Maybe you haven't done that already yet. Fingertips going back down, stepping our way back and moving back into our downward dog like before. So pedaling out our feet side to side. Soften through your shoulders. And we're going to step our left leg forwards, planting it down in front. Again, coming up into a high lunge. Fingertips all the way to the top, reaching. This time out into a warrior 2. Your right heel lowers down, arms reach to the side, fingertips extending away from each other. Straightening through your left leg, palms facing your side, reaching ahead and then lowering down. So moving into a triangle pose. We're trying to squeeze up through our thighs. So we're not just hanging out in our kneecaps, we're using the strength in our legs. And then we're uncurling through our chest and reaching our right hand up and away. Now you can bring these left fingertips down to your mat. If you want a bit more support, bring that block or whatever you're using back in. Left hand goes on top, right arm lifts. So just giving us a bit more space to turn into. And remember, tools are helpful. Humanity progressed by making tools, so they're never, ever a step back. We're going to bring our right fingertips down, turning to the side of your mat. Whichever side you're at, don't worry. Whether you're facing me or you're semi-not, that's okay. Fingertips down, roll your shoulders, chest lifts. Exhale, folding down. One more, breathing in. And breathing out. Holding on to our legs now. So see if we can take our hands around our ankles, maybe our shins, and just start to bring your chest that little bit closer towards the underneath of your legs. Now we're not going to get there. We're not going to do a full 180 with our back and our hips, but we do just want to see if we can get a nice stretch down through those legs. Slowly moving your way out, little bend in our knees, bringing yourself up to standing. Give your shoulders a roll. From here, we're going to bend into our right leg, keeping this left leg long, fingertips down, moving into a lovely side lunge. Okay, options from here. You can either keep your hands on the mat. If you're kind of halfway and you need that support and we're kind of up here, stay as you are, please, please, please. If you are lowered, you're down, you've got a little bit more balance in these legs, then maybe bringing your hands up towards your chest. And again, this is where we really need that exercise. We really need that space and the movement in our ankle to hold us here. Working again into those hips. We're going to come all the way up to where we just were. So back into that wide leg stance, starting to press down through your left toes, lifting your arms up this time all the way to standing. And into our warrior two again. So toes, left toes facing the front of your mat, arms reaching, go low. From here, back into that horizon lunge, starting to fold back. So our right knee bends, left leg goes straight. And this time, if you can, reaching your arms out. Again, you can stay here if you're kind of halfway and you need that extra support, absolutely fine. You're going to come back into that warrior two straight from here, starting to press through those right toes. Left foot comes forward, arms reach. Last time, going all the way back, straight and through the left leg, lower down into those right hips. Well done. Moving back up into our wide leg stance and folding forwards. Breathing in as you lift, breathing out as you lower. You probably realise we're going to do that all on the other side. Fun, fun, fun. Starting out with our high lunge. So turning towards maybe the back of your mat right now. Your right toes facing that shorter edge of your mat. Left heel is lifted. Bringing your arms up. Breathing out as you move into your warrior two. So that left heel is low. Right leg is bent. Arms reaching at either end. And just see if you can go a little bit lower into your legs. Straightening through your right knee now, palms facing the side, reaching ahead, lowering down, toes pressing into your mat as you uncurl through your chest. Again, thinking about this use of our legs, we're using those thighs, they are super duper strong. Trying to uncurl and unravel that left shoulder. Letting yourself come down, left fingertips onto your mat. Turning back into our wide fold, breathing in to come up halfway. Breathing out, lower back down. One more, breathing in. And out. Now this time, either holding onto your ankles or your shins, or feel free to take your first two fingers and wrap them around your big toes. You may want to take a little bend in your knees to get there, that's absolutely fine. Breathing in, length through your arms, lifting your chest. Breathing out, folding forwards and down. Let yourself settle down towards your mat. Slowly releasing. We're going to walk our hands over toward this left ankle. Let our hips go low into this side lunge. Right leg straight. See if we can lift up those right toes. As before, hands on your mat, maybe up towards your chest. See where you're at. We're going to come into this a few times, just like we did on the other side. So take your time, breathe. Maybe each time you can go and release that little bit more. Starting to press up through this nice big fold. Lifting to the top and then into our warrior two. Right knee bends, toes facing the front, hips low. All the way back now into our side lunge. Right leg straightens, left knee bends. Oh, I've got a nice little crack in my knee. Maybe you're up on your tiptoes as well, by the way, on this left foot, and that's absolutely fine. Just make sure you're supported with your hands. Coming back straight into our warrior two. Right toes face forward, arms reach, shoulders soft. Last time, all the way back, lowering your hips down. Another little crack in my knee. Apologies if you could hear it. Holding here, deep breath. Okay, let's come back into our wide fold. Starting to press into your feet, lift your hips up high. Breathing in, roll your shoulders. Breathing out, lower down. Shoulders are soft, head's heavy. Space through the back of your legs. And starting to walk your way back towards the front of your mat, whichever side that is. Back into our downward dog. Wiggle out your feet. Those ankles maybe need a little shake. Rocking side to side. And we're going to come back down onto our knees. Your right foot stepping forwards, moving into a low lunge. Untuck those left toes, bringing your fingertips up to the top. And again, we're going to do that hold of our wrist. So right hand holds onto left wrist. We're leaning over the top of our waist. You can probably get a little bit further here because we're on our feet and we've got a bit more stability. You may be able to lean that bit more. Slowly releasing back to the front, hands coming down by your sides, moving into our half splits. Extend back with your hips, right leg straightens, toes off your mat, fingers stay down, breathing in, chest lifts. Exhale, folding forwards. Nice big breath in, one more. And release, breathing out. Okay, walking your hands closer towards you. From here, bringing your bottom down onto your mat. You may need to slide that right heel a little bit, depending on how it's doing in front of you. And your left leg is going to stay quite close to you. I'm going to shift further forward on my mat, actually. Left knee is quite close to you. Left foot is close to you. Moving into our half saddle. Big stretch for the front of our hips. Staying on your hands, starting to lean backwards. If you want to stay there, please do. Maybe you move onto your forearms. Maybe you move those forearms out of the way and come all the way down onto your shoulders. You do not have to go here. You can stay exactly where you were on your hands if that is enough for the front of your left leg. If you are down on the mat and you're starting to think, you know what, I've got loads of space today, I'm super flexible, then maybe bring this right leg in, wrapping your hands in front of your knee or your shin like we did before from standing, and that's going to increase that stretch in front of your left quad. Deep breath here. Slowly moving back up. So extend through your right leg if you had it lifted. Hands wiggling down behind you. And instead of going straight onto the other side, we're going to come onto a little 90-90 stretch. So just moving, I'm going to turn to face you again. So moving your left knee out to the side, and your heel is about 90 degrees, or your foot is about 90 degrees away from you. That right shin in front of you, so those legs going at two different options, directions, moving forwards with our fingertips, starting to lean over our right shin, folding your chest towards your mat or the floor, wherever you're at. And remember, it doesn't matter if you come off the mat in these stretches. If you start to lean over to one side, if you just wiggled yourself across, we have this fear of moving off our mats. It's just the floor. It's not like the floor is lava like those games you used to play as a kid. I mean, that was fun, to be fair. But anyway, went a bit off topic. Apologies. Taking one more deep breath. Nice big stretch into those right side glutes. And gently bringing yourself up. Now we're going to wiggle ourselves from here back into that low lunge. So starting by bringing your left knee a bit closer towards you. Right foot planting down in front. Bringing yourself up. And then bringing that left knee back behind you. Now I'm going to grab my strap for this one. So we're going to move into a bit more of a stretch through the front of our left thigh. So I'm going to grab my strap and just put a little loop in it and see if I can balance to get my foot, there we go, into my strap. Now I'm lucky, as I said before, I have this wall next to me so I can hold on here for that extra stability. You may just want to hold on to your thigh. You may have a wall. You may want to move yourself. That is absolutely fine. I'm going to see if we can pick up this left knee and bring it closer towards us. My strap is actually wiggled down to my ankle. Unhelpful. If this is quite intense through the knee, then of course ease yourself off if you think it's that. If you think actually your floor is just a little bit hard, pop a little cushion underneath your mat. Or what you can do is double over your mat. So I'm on a wooden floor here and it is quite difficult. So I can double over my mat just by putting a little fold in it. And then that's much more comfy for that left leg. So holding here, again, you do not have to get your heel or your toes all the way up close to your bottom, but you want to find that place, that sweet spot where we can get the stretch through the front of our leg. Gently starting to release your left toes, fingertips down towards your mat, bringing your right foot back, or right knee back, sorry, I should say, and then moving over to the other side. So your left foot coming forwards, starting out with our low lunge, finding some space. Oops, sorry, this fold in my mat is making me go all off. Breathing in, lifting your chest, fingertips to the top. We're holding onto our right wrist, leaning over the top of our left thigh, left waist, left hip. Gently moving back into center, hands coming down as we move into our half splits. Those left toes lifting up, chest sinking forwards as you breathe out. As always, feel free to adjust if you need to. There's no need in staying still if actually you just need to wiggle around a little bit, find a new position and move into it there. Starting to lift yourself up. We're moving back into that half saddle position. So bringing your hips down towards your mat. Your right heel stays quite close towards you. Maybe your hands stay here and you just start to lean back, chest stays lifted and breathe. Or maybe we move onto our forearms, maybe going further down towards your shoulders and resting on your mat. Wherever you are, find that deep breath, bring it back, refocus. If you did last time, maybe bringing your left knee in towards you, interlace your fingers, and there you will find a deep stretch through the front of your right thigh. Slowly moving out from here, coming back up all the way to the top, back into our 90-90 stretch. So this time your left shin is in front of you, right knee goes out to the side, fingertips in front, start to walk them forwards, leaning over the top of your left leg, folding down. I know we often do pigeon in our hip focused flows. We're actually not going to come into a pigeon today. So this is probably as close to a pigeon as we're going to get right now. And some of you may be absolutely joyous at no pigeon. Others may want to do one. Feel free to do it afterwards, as always. Gently making our way back up. And again into our low lunge for one more time on this left side. Start to bring your left foot forwards and down, fingertips onto your mat. Right knee is coming on, maybe onto that fold on your mat, onto your cushion if you have a bit of a hard floor. Bringing your strap close to you, creating that little loop, looping it around your back toes whenever you can. And then bringing your knee, not your knee, your heel closer in towards your glutes. Now this may not feel too intense, and if it doesn't, that's okay. Step those left toes a bit further forwards and start to really lean into it. So as always, sometimes we need to ease off and really find those sweet spots, but sometimes we need to just go, hold on, I'm just doing it for the way that I think it's meant to look. I'm not really focused on where I'm feeling it. So for today, because that theme is those front of hips, or all around our hips to be honest, we're trying to let ourselves sink a little bit deeper. That doesn't mean just hang out in our hips, go super low. It means use that strength in your legs and bring that foot closer towards your waist, your hips, and find that stretch. One more deep breath. Slowly coming out, taking your strap, moving it around to your side, taking this little loop out of my mat. Maybe you need to do yours. And we're going to come back to sitting on our mats into a nice little seated position with our feet in front of us. Again, I'm going to come and face you. Soles of our feet close together now. Now we often try and wiggle our hips, all the way closer in, and we get really, really close. And then we go to kind of fold forwards, and it might feel lovely on our backs. Today, again, we're thinking about these hips. We're actually going to add a little bit more tension into the legs before we come into that fold in a moment. So our soles of our feet are pressing together. And if you're anything like me, you've got one leg or one knee that's a bit higher than the other. That is a-okay. I'm going to put my hands on top of my knees and just gently, and I do mean gently, add a little bit of pressure. So we should feel automatically like we're getting a stretch into those hips. They're probably going to go, oh, no, please don't do this. This is not nice. Take a deep breath. Any pain, as always, please back off. But otherwise, take a deep breath. Stay where you are. You don't need to go any deeper. Soften. And the reason that we're doing it is I promise you, you could hold a 5 kilo weight on top of your knees right now and they would not break. So we're just trying to add that little bit of pressure without using the weights. We're trying to add that little bit of pressure to find some more space in our legs, to give us a moment to stretch. And we're still sitting up tall, chest open, shoulders soft. Okay, releasing your hands from your knees, bringing them back closer towards each other. Give your hips a bit of a break. Hands going by your side or just behind you. Window wipe your legs side to side. Ease off into your knees, your hips. And we will take one more of those, but this time without that weight from our hands. So hands around our toes this time. Knees going towards the sides of your mat, starting to lean your way forwards. Doesn't matter if your elbows or your forearms are pressing down into the legs to get them a little bit further. You're just leaning, finding some space in our lower backs. Lovely and soft. Gently lifting your way up, bringing your knees closer together, moving into a final little fold for us. So we're going to bring our strap, or if you don't need a strap, feel free just to reach with your fingers and plant it around your feet. So again, coming into that little gap in our strap, a little loop. Now I'm going to hold onto this strap with both hands, but feel free, I'm going to hold it into like individual hands with both in each one. Maybe you want to join the straps together and hold them at the same time. That is absolutely fine. From here, deep breath in, start to lift through your chest. As you breathe out, lowering yourself down forwards towards your toes. So you may find that actually this strap is a bit too intense. So maybe you want to let go of your strap and hold on to your toes. Maybe you do not have a strap today, and that is a-okay. Bringing your hands onto your shins if you can reach there, or maybe onto your toes if that's better for you. Letting your chest move forwards and down. So we've got this length through our backs. So we're not kind of hunched over and tucking our head in between our arms, even though that might feel good across your back. Right now we're getting the length down our legs and down our backs. Taking one more deep breath here. Slowly bringing yourself up, moving your strap out of the way if you had one. Slowly bringing yourself down onto your backs. Bring your knees in, give yourself a nice big cuddle, squeezing them in closer towards you. And we're going to move into a happy baby before we finish up. So our happy babies are where our knees come towards our underarms, our hips and our tailbones really reaching away from you down to the other end of your mat. Your soles of your feet coming up towards your ceiling, and then either holding on to your big toes with your first two fingers, or we're holding on to the outside edge of each foot and just letting ourselves rock side to side, left and right. If you wish, maybe straighten through one knee, straighten through the other. But it is a happy baby, so move as you wish. We've done loads of work through those hips. Just give yourself a chance to wiggle around, have a bit of fun. And when you are ready from here, coming down and out of your happy baby to come onto your mat. As always, if you want to do any other stretches, if you want to move into another posture before you finish up, feel free to do that. But once you are ready, moving into a comfy position, just to take it all in for our final few moments. So maybe your legs go out long, maybe your knees are bent. Wherever you're at, closing your eyes, soften through your shoulders, taking a few deep breaths. Beginning to move into your wrists, your ankles, letting your head go side to side. Maybe finding a full body stretch, arms reaching, toes pointing in the other direction. Feel that big lift through your chest. And then bringing your knees in towards you. One more big hug. Gently bringing yourself up into a comfortable seated position, eyes still closed, or maybe a soft gaze. Let your hands fall into your lap or down by your sides, growing tall to the crown of your head, giving yourself a big, big, big well done. Huge smile to finish up, please. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for doing this little flow with me. I hope your hips feel good. I hope you feel good all over. And as always, any thoughts, comments, feedback, do chat to me on the WhatsApp group. Do let Lil know, and we will be happy to do anything that you want, basically. Have a lovely rest of your day and see you very, very soon. Bye.